Good evening, everybody. Once again, we are on Gelvin Valley, Farming Simulator 15, and we are planting trees. First off, we have one dead ahead in front of us, but I don't know why this silly thing didn't plant more. So we're going to back this up, and oh, look at that. It already jammed one in the ground. How about that? Hopefully you didn't put those two close together. Oh well. I don't know how it decides where to plunk a tree. Whoops, we want to leave room for the road. We're using our GPS to help us see kind of where we are going. But we were going to leave kind of the edge open over here for traffic, I suppose. And we're going to fill this area with trees because the local authorities wanted it that way. Right? Right. Wish they would pay us to put in some aesthetics, but they didn't. So we'll just take what we can get in the form of free rent. I have no idea if I'm planting these too close together or what. That's a lot of foliage. If I had my others, I'd probably try to plant them closer together if I could. I just don't remember if we're allowed to on 15. I know we could on 17, but they started letting us... Whoa! Yikes! Oh, that's a little steeper there than what I thought it was. I don't think I want to go down there. That'll be kind of a steepish road over here. I'm really curious to see how quickly these grow. Hopefully they go quick so we can get in and harvest them. Might take a few days. I don't know how long. And so we might end up having to go through a whole nother cropping cycle before these are big enough to come in and bring down. I know there are some timber areas already on this map, and I could just go take some of those trees. But I'll tell you, I'm kind of reluctant to do that on maps. I don't know how you guys feel about it when you play. You know, it's kind of like this tree right ahead of me. I'm reluctant to take a tree like that out because the mapper put it there for ambiance. That was his choice. And if I remove it, well, then it's gone. And kind of like I was explaining in the previous video, the trees that he used in here are unique. Let me sneak around here. I haven't seen them anywhere else, so I'm not sure where he got them. So if the player takes them out, anything they would plant in its place, assuming you do replant, you know, wouldn't be the same. So that's why I say I'm kind of just like leaving his trees here. So if I'm going to do any timber stuff, I would just plant my own. And, whoops, I want to be careful. Looks like I got one more. I maybe should have narrowed this up. I'm going to be done planting this here shortly. And then I'm not sure where I can put these in the ground. Oh, for goodness sakes. This goes... Look at that big old blank area. How many blank areas? Does this thing do it on a... Well, it must not be on a grid. I wonder if the tree planter has to go a certain distance before... I think we can remember this, right? We're right there by that edge of the electric line there. Let me turn off GPS. But I wonder if the coding forces the the player to drive a certain distance before it lets you put in a new tree when it's on the ground. So it has to be recording that somehow. I just don't know what the distance is and what the particulars are. Because sometimes it feels like you drive a long ways before it puts a tree in the ground, and then other times you so much as drop the thing down to get ready to plant, and it will just jam a tree in right away. So yeah, I just don't know the algorithm. And I'm pretty sure, like, let me look at my help menu and see if I can drive. Yeah, you can turn it on. There's just nothing that I see to... Yeah, first I need to fill the input. There's nothing there that says frequency to just burp them out, 1 meter apart if you wanted to. And of course that isn't how a real-life tree farm would be, but... Oh, now I've got to climb the hill. But you may plant them even closer than that. I mean, I've seen tree plantations before, and when I worked in Lone Oak, they did a little bit of logging of some timber area they had a couple summers that I worked up there. And when they replanted, and I helped with some of that, we planted them very close to each other, just little tiny saplings. And I've been down there since. I mean, this was a couple decades ago now that we planted them. And a lot of those trees are pretty large now, but there's way fewer trees than what we put in there. So I kind of think they did some thinning at some point in there. Maybe the trees that were flourishing the best were left, and those that maybe were not as flourishing were cut out and hauled away. All of them may still have lived. It's probably just for the sake of the tree stand. If you really want to have a mature tree stand, you can't just have them growing in there thicker than the fur on a dog's back, so they all would suffer. And I even remember seeing that with crops on a field too. And it would be applicable to something like in this map also, or British farms, because it seems like you all have something similar over there. When there is trees planted around the edge of the field, and if you do your cropping clear up to the edge of the field, the crop around the edge of the field doesn't do nearly as well as the stuff in the middle of the field. And maybe sometimes you can't really see it, but I remember there was this farmer out in the hills. You didn't often see, where Lone Oak was, you didn't often see people growing corn. But I remember one year, actually a couple years, this local farmer neighbor had some ground close to Lone Oaks, and he put in sweet corn, and you could tell just in the height of the sweet corn. Wherever there was a massive tree, you would just see, it would look like the sweet corn had stunted growth. It'd be a whole lot shorter, and it didn't, and then the further away you got from the tree, the healthier the corn looked. Yeah, see, look at that. I planted a tree right where I dropped it. There's something strange going on. I don't know what that is. Okay. This big old power line to deal with in here. I'm just going to sneak along this edge and get in here. Of course, I probably should be careful putting it too close to this power line. I don't know if the good people of Gelvin Valley would appreciate that, because they have trees growing into their power lines. They may not appreciate the guy that put them there, shall we say. Actually, this map has a few areas. I remember in watching Atomic 67's videos on Gelvin Valley, I think he had an episode in there where he did some tree trimming, and oh, for goodness sake, there we go, put a tree in there. Oh, I'm trying to leave a road open. I think we'll be okay though. These are pretty far apart. there's some areas, you know, and I know I've driven there a time or two, coming off the main road up there, heading back to the farm. You know, there's kind of a dirt road area getting back there, and on the way, there's this tree that's kind of bent over, and it almost interferes. I think if our tractor was a little bit taller, had a bigger cab or something, that it would interfere with driving through there. But it's so far. If you hit it just right, you know, you can still drive on through. But really, what we would have done on the farm is with those kind of obstacles, you know, you don't want to ding up your machinery. Actually, probably with the damage mod, oh, for goodness sake, plant a tree. Why? I'm gonna have to come along this edge. Yeah, there's something about the frequency it has here. It's not putting that many in down here. Come on, put it in. 24, 24. I'm watching my counter. Oh, good grief. Ah! Oh! No, 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 no. Okay. Oh, I just slipped over the hill. Alright, can I get out of here? Oh, phew! Oh dear. I was afraid I was going to have to spend money with the reclamation guys that come bail you out. This is a real trick. Those bushes are literally over the edge and they stick up top as if there's area to drive there, and there is not. Pretty sneaky, Wes. It's only going to let me put in a couple more here. I wonder if I could... This isn't going to be according to good tree planting principles, but I'm probably going to just wander out in the middle there and see if it'll get rid of my whatever I have left in this particular pallet. Put that down. Come on, plant, 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 plant. That's why I drove off the hill. I was looking at my counter and was... Look at that. Okay, it waits clear till here to put something in. My word, I wanted one kind of over... Look at that. There it jams one right there. Okay, I'm gonna, there, see, I put in another one. I'll raise it up. I'm gonna maybe put a row of trees. I'll leave just a slight area here. Look at that, it puts it right in the ground sometimes. I really just don't get it. Yeah, I was trying to keep a road along here, but it's putting a couple of them in very close to where I tried to avoid. So I'm just going to kind of go along this edge here, hoe in some more trees, and then I'm going to get rid of the rest of them. Hopefully this doesn't put any of them in the same space. Yeah, I'm driving over these saplings. Alright, everybody, hold your nose. This is not, oh, maybe what I should do is get over here into these little nooks and jam a tree into those. I don't know that I totally did it along this edge, did I? I might have done it next to this edge, so I'm going to get rid of the rest of the trees here. That's still going to leave a couple pallets up there that I'm going to have to find something to do with it. Alright, got it. Now we'll take that off. Get our blinkers going again. I'm sure I'm running over all my saplings. Why don't I have any power? Oh, is that one thing going on again? I see that little 70% down there. What did I do to... How... I wonder if it was... There is something... Yeah, I need to figure out my power. Give me just a second. I gotta go look at a mod. Sorry y'all see my screen there. Actually, because I want to save my time. Um, Let me hold that at there. Which mod was that is giving me... Was it a ZZ mod? Work RPM? No, I don't think that's what it was. Ah. See, the trouble with this mod is it doesn't give you something in... It wasn't drive control. It doesn't give you something in the help menu that informs you as to what you're doing by limiting the speed. It's some kind of a limiter, and I'm bummed if I can remember what it is. That's the rent mod. All I gotta do is find it, because you gotta look at the mod desk file to know what some of the input bindings are. Oh, for goodness sakes. Probably somebody watching this knows exactly which mod it is and is talking to their computer screen right now. Phooey. I didn't break the thing open, did I? Last time, increase RPM. You know, that's increase RPM while tipping. Maybe it is this one down here that was not drive control. Work RPM? I wonder if that's what it is. Yeah. No, that isn't it. Well, unless it's in here. Get is animation playing. Oh, this is something I had to fix in it. Oh, goodness. Well, you know what? Well, maybe what I'll do is suffer along with this for a little bit. Trouble is, I think this impacts my speed. Oh, maybe it doesn't. Oh, is that what it is? You know, if I press the forward button, it limits my speed, but if I don't, and all I have on is the regular cruise control, well then it's fine. I mean, it's going only 30, but that might be because I'm damaged a little bit, maybe. Alright, that's fast enough. That'll be fast enough to hopefully finish out the episode, but I need to figure out what that is. I don't know if that made sense, anybody listening to this. It's that little thing down by... Shoot, maybe it's in the drive control mod. I'm gonna have to... Oh, I just damaged my tractor again because I'm looking at the HUD down there. There's that little 100%. There's a little gear right below where it says a mile per hour. 100% on the right, 70% on the left. I don't know what that is, but I do need to stay on the road. What I need to figure out now is where to plant the rest of my trees. I gotta go up and get some. And I'm kind of wondering how hog wild to go with this. You know, something else I don't remember. Is it possible to hire the tree planter? Maybe I'm thinking of 17, where that became... I think it was possible in 17. So down in that area, we have 3 pallets of saplings. So each one of these holds 40, so that'd be 120 trees. That's gonna bring a chunk of change. once once I get into harvesting them. So hold on a second here. Maybe I go to this map. I know on the way over to Pheasant Pluckers, which I believe is right here. Yeah, there's this black area. Yeah, he marks some kind of with a black area. So this black area, we put some trees in. I don't think that's a plantable area up there. I seem to recall there's some, well, not real sure. I know there's an area in here, which is kind of a ways away. This area, maybe there's even an area down here. Maybe this one too? I can't really tell if that's an area to put trees or placeables rather. But desperate times, of course. But is there any other placeable area? I'm not sure there is. You know, I know this up here looks gray colored, but what this is you're going up to the radio tower. I suppose I could sneak up there and plant some trees. Maybe that would make more sense in some ways than the areas I'm putting them. But this area down here is going to be so nicely accessible. For some reason I thought there was another placeable area over here, but maybe the ones I'm thinking of are just here and then this one over here. And I'm not sure this is any closer than this one is over here. So, or this down. Yeah. Yeah. So I need to figure out where to take these. I may just head over by the good old Pheasant Pluckers to dispense with the rest of these. Head on down the mountain. And maybe just while I'm going, I'll just be on the lookout for any area that may look good for plunking a few trees. I could probably plant them on the beach if I was really that desperate. But I don't think beaches are a good place to plant trees in real life. I think I've seen some trees on beaches, but they're a special kind of tree. Not these big old spruces that we're putting in. I wonder if it let me plant trees in the trigger right over here. Cut the tree down, boom, sold immediately. But probably wouldn't get as much money for it because I think you get a higher price if it's been delimbed and is a certain length. Unless it was a later version where they started building that kind of thing in. You know, and it'd probably let me plant in, well, I guess I don't know. It might let me plant in these fields down here, down in the bottom or up to the left here. I don't know. But those, I'm just assuming, I mean, those are regular fields. If I put them there, probably should own them first. That'd be the right thing to do. So I'm going to try to find... Maybe I should have used my pasture for this. Oh, I didn't mean to off my horn. How do I get to these areas? There is a stream in there, right? I mean, that's kind of where the river comes down. Is that a big ol' area down here? I'm wondering if that's marked correctly on the map. Not sure it is. Oops, pardon me, madam. Oh, we'll check it out. Maybe, I know there's something down here, I just don't remember what it was. You know, I don't know that I've been around this bend up here. I Yeah, this is getting in unfamiliar territory. You know something? I don't know that I've ever been to this part of the map. Now that I think about it, what is this up here? There's like a little... Huh. Maybe that's how a person enters the forest up here. Interesting. There's something down the hill over here. I've just never... I don't think I've been in this area before. Yeah, there's the river that runs through things. I can hear it. Something is smoking over there. Waterfall he has in here. That's pretty cool. West did an awesome job on this map, no doubt about it. But in some ways I'm kind of surprised. I just haven't been down to this area. That's field number 10 on the right. And is it going to let me look at that? What is this, a fuel station? Oh. I can't go off that edge. Of course. East Hills Road. There's even a road back here. I have just never been back here. Oh, and of course there's traffic. Hills. So, okay, so we have a placeable area down here. We have one straight ahead. I'm not sure which one I prefer. Maybe I'll just deal with this one close to the road. We have 40 trees. And... alright. Well, it just so turns out the good folks of Gelvin Valley really want some trees in. So, we are going to oblige. Does that get me all the way down to the end? I think close enough. Yeah, that may be a little rough going, but... alright, here we go, folks. Look at that. Planted a tree right on the road. Out we go. You know, it goes slower when I press forward. That's just so baffling to me. I need to figure that mod out, and I will when I get done with this episode. Trouble is, I forgot to turn on my silly timer, so I don't even know how many minutes in we are. Okay. Alright, took care of 10 trees in one pass. Maybe we'll take care of 10 more in the next. Now, is this a road in here? That does look like a road in here. Oh well, but we are planting trees. And I put one kind of right in the middle of it, so... I guess this means we can dump 10 trees a pass. Aha, got rid of more. When we did this on Lone Oak, and I mean this must be, this kind of equipment is just for the more sophisticated tree farms. The timber that was cut was kind of down, in their canyon, I guess we called it. There were some really steep areas. It's ground that's generally too steep to farm. There's a river, you know, that runs through the middle of it, so it's impractical, and you don't want your chemical just going in the river and all that. So, not an area they would farm, and it just was full of trees. The only trees they cut were firs, as I recall, and that's all we took out of there. That's all that was replanted, as I recall. I don't think there was any deciduous, you know, with the oaks and maples and whatnot that are, I guess you would say, indigenous to the area. But none of it was flat. I don't know what kind of a machine it would have taken to plant trees with a gizmo like this. maybe there's something that could have. I mean, you get something with big enough wheels and all that. I realize there's some pretty cool stuff that goes off in the forest. But I think for all their stuff, it was all done by hand. Let me put that there. That means I'm going to have to... Well, I don't have much choice. I ought to remember kind of where I'm at, so we are going to go on our tippy drive back to get another pallet. So when the times I helped out there, it was all very low tech. We're talking, I think we call the thing a hodad. I'm not sure why. It was a hoe on, yeah, I guess it was a hoe on one end, and I don't know that it had a smaller hoe on the other side of it. And basically the idea was you took a couple chops, hopefully just one if the soil was right, and while the, oh my goodness, I can't drive, I'm like a drunk. The idea was that you would jam it in, and while the hoe was in the ground, you would kind of loosen it out a little bit and kind of pull it towards you, and there would be kind of a slot down beside the hoe. And if you did it just right, you could grab a sapling and stick it in the slot and slide it down alongside the hoe. And you could even use the hoe very gently to help take the roots so they went straight down. You didn't want to have the roots shaped like a J, you know, and have them growing up. You want them growing down, of course. So use the hoe to kind of settle the roots in, and then you pulled it out and used your boot or the edge of the hoe to kind of push the soil back together. You know, this slot that you would open up would only be, oh, I don't know, maybe an inch, inch and a half wide. Not very big at all, so it wasn't very hard to press it together. And the time of year that we did this, as I recall, was fall. So I think there was, maybe it was even after a rainfall, so there was a little bit of water in the soil. So it was, suffice it to say, there was plenty of, wait a minute, do I gotta go in there? I do. Pay attention, Kenzie. Gotta head up the hill. So there would be water coming is the point, you know, that would help take care of all these trees that were put in there. But, oh man, this thing is swimming on the road. Drive straight. I'm really missing my weight. We'll see if by the time I get back to the area where I'm planting these, maybe it'll have preserved. You know, it seems like it's preserved all these tire tracks. Oh, man. They're doing more damage to the old tractor. Sure, I'm glad I dialed that down. But anyway, I mean, like I say, very low tech, just with a hand special hoe, if you will, and several of us out there. We didn't even mark the lines so we could plant them in a row. We kind of just guesstimated, if you will. I think they had mark maybe kind of on the edge of the area we had logged, and we tried to stay a certain distance apart, and then we would just look up the hill and we'd aim for a spot, if you will, to know kind of where we were going. But I know it was very imperfect, imprecise. And I think if you go in there now, you can tell someone came through and planted it, of course, but they're very much not in straight lines. Kind of straight, which probably then made it a booger later, you know, when they would do thinning exercises. Ooh, careful. Wow. See, I just put more weight in the back. I am going to end up in the ditch for sure if I'm not careful. But it would have been nice to have something like this. Use the hand tool, and we all had a pouch. Wow. You know, I've complained about the hired help having an affinity for the edge of the bridge and fences, it appears I enjoy it too. I just made another tick of damage on my tractor. Oh, for goodness sake. I wonder if a person has a weight, probably doesn't work that way. I was thinking if you have a weight on your tractor, does that help, protect you from damage if it's the weight that hits something first? But there's probably plenty of things that get hit at an oblique angle, and so, yeah, probably no protection. I'm just going to be rude and pull out in traffic. Look at that. Polite folks here in Gelvin Valley waiting on helpless tractors coming out. Because I think back in 15, he may be catching up now. Does that pull a hill? Well, I'm pretty well speeding past him. You can see him. They don't go very fast. I think later, maybe with mods or something, you could get him to speed up a little bit. I don't recall. Maybe depending on how the mapper set things up. Turn the corner. When I get done with this episode, I am definitely closing the game and starting over to figure out which mod is giving me fits. I am so used to, when I'm driving, I just hold the up arrow. Most of what I do is keyboard driving in here. I'm sure it probably shows. And so if I go forward, I want to hold the up arrow down, knowing that when I let go of it, then it quits moving. Well, now I have to kind of use, if I do that, it slows me way down, so I have to rely on cruise control, which is a little bit more pain. I kind of like this end of the map. It's very picturesque. I think I mentioned this in a comment someone had made on my YouTube videos. I mean, it's one thing I really, really like about the UK, British, Irish maps. That style is there's no straight edges, or not very many of them. There's no square corners. Everything is there's just no squares. And if you pull up an American map, or particularly one based in the Midwest or something, look at that. It kept all of our tire tracks. If you get a Midwestern U.S. map or any U.S. map, a lot of times you just see square fields. And I live in the U.S., in Oregon, and I mean, it's one of those things you can't stereotype. I'm sure somewhere in the UK they probably have square blocks for fields, and I know for a fact in America, the area where I live, there is plenty of fields that have no square edges. And so, and maybe that's why it appeals to me so much, these types of maps, is, I don't know, reminds me a little bit of home or whatever. But, I think I have probably bothered everybody enough with this episode, and it's probably gone close to half an hour, so I think I'll just call her good there, and thank you all for watching. I appreciate you sticking around and making your way through it, and we'll call it for now, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.